What's good, baby? Welcome back to Markus X. Today I have something very special for you. Today is the very first episode of X Talk, an exclusive series where I'm going to be diving into some interviews, interviewing some of my very favorite artists that are inspiring to me. So for today's first episode, I have somebody very special lined up. This is the Venus in Scorpio.
I don't care what they think or say about it. Your love's the cure and I can't live without it. If you're infected, then I guess that I am too.
Let's all welcome the Venus in Scorpio. So tell us about your creative beginnings. Where did everything start for you as a creator?
I started playing around with guitars and like samplers and drum machines and keyboards and stuff. And I've kind of been like a solo artist ever since then. But yeah, I guess it started mostly when I was a teenager.
Did you start out like in bands, or did you start out just experimenting with different instruments then?
Just like experimenting with different music, because I always wanted to make the music myself. I just had to like teach myself how to.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like I was never extroverted enough to like start a band with other people because I was kind of a shy artist. Yeah.
Now, so at this point in your evolution then, are you producing all of your music yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I'll have some friends help with a little of it, like kind of clean it up and mix it and add like some instrumentation, but I write everything myself.
You just had a project come out recently called This Place Is Killing Me, and I wanted to touch base with that a little bit and kind of get your insight or your creative interpretation of what this project represents for you and kind of what your message was for the project.
Yeah, well, it has a few different like meanings. I guess the first meaning was just like growing up as like a queer person in a small town. Like I felt like I couldn't get out of there quick enough, and so the like surface meaning of it was I just felt this like need to get out of my surroundings and like see the world a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's when I moved to LA. And then it has a double meaning as like being in a relationship that's kind of boring and like you're not really growing in and you're not really like satisfied, so you feel like you need to get out of it. I wrote the song Rome when I was at the end of a relationship, feeling like I needed to like get out, and felt like I was in a very like safe place with the relationship and that I wasn't really like moving towards anything. And then after the pandemic started, I got this plan to move to Berlin. Like right before the pandemic started, I decided to move to Berlin.
Right.
And so when lockdown began, it took on this other meaning where I was just like, I want to get out of the United States. Like I can't stand it here. And I just like, felt like I needed to escape. So those are like three different escape themes that are all kind of intertwined with the EP, but I guess the theme is mostly around like relationships and stuff, like feeling like I need to escape a bored relationship.
Yeah, I know that we know that with all endings come new beginnings. So what would you say for you, because it sounds like there's a lot of endings happening in your life, and so for you, what would you say would be like the new birth that's forming from everything? What's the next chapter?
It's definitely like a new chapter, like just like in a new country. I'm single. I feel like I'm really getting to like know myself a second time. Like maybe it's my second go at like adulthood, because I don't know, I feel like you evolve a few times in your life, and it feels like I'm on the cusp of like another kind of evolution creatively and as a performer, and just like, I don't know, in all those ways that I felt kind of stuck. I guess I feel like more decompression right now.
So let's touch base about your name a little bit. Tell us about your name. How did you come up with it? And then also, I'm curious, Maxim Faster is, what are the differences here? Okay, so that's your stage name, and then the Venus in Scorpio is?
That's my name for like my band, I guess.
Okay. So it's a band name versus the individual name.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the band name came from my birth chart has Venus and the sign of Scorpio, and I wrote a song about it, and I was performing it one time, and people kept being like, "That's a really cool title for a song," and it just like kind of made me think, and I was like, maybe I should just call my project the Venus in Scorpio. So I just like took over with that about a year or two ago, and so that's been the name of the project ever since. Maxim, I've only been going by that name for a few months because I was like, it's so stupid, but I was on Facebook and I was really bored, and there's this post going around that was like, if my name wasn't what my name is, like what name would you say I was? And people commented all these names, and one of my friends said Maxim, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool name. And when I was a kid, I liked the name Max. Like I preferred to go by the name Max when I was a kid, but like whenever I got to middle school, like whenever I moved to Colorado, it just kind of like went back to my normal name, which is Philip, which I never really felt like a Philip. I definitely feel more resonance with the name Max. And when my friend said Maxim, I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I was like, what would my last name be? And then the first thing that came to mind was just Faster for some reason. So I was like, okay, that'll be my name now. And so like, I guess there is a reason that way of like a new identity that I'm forging in this like pandemic time in Berlin.
If you could imagine your most beautiful, biggest, brightest dream of a life, what would that kind of look like for you?
It looked really similar to my life right now, except like my music and everything would be paying my bills full time, and I would be working with a bunch of other artists and touring and putting out records. And I would have like a partner of some kind, because I'm single right now, and I kind of like am dating someone, but it's not really possible right now because it's kind of long distance. They live in Belgium. But I guess it would be like just an adaptation of, or like kind of like a, like it would be similar to what I have now. It would just be like, I'd be more financially independent with my music and be doing a little bit more with that, because I feel like I'm still kind of at the beginning with my music.
And I know you have another single coming out soon, right?
Yeah, I have a song coming out on the 23rd called The Tower. And it's a really weird song. It's just kind of like, inspired by everything that's happening in the world, but mostly the United States right now. And it's just kind of like stream of consciousness music. And it's a little bit darker than the stuff I was putting out recently. But yeah, I wanted to make something kind of spooky because it's Scorpio season and Halloween is coming up, and no one cares about Halloween in Berlin because it's like Halloween every day here or something. But I wanted to do something kind of like some kind of spooky offering. So it's got like it's got kind of like a Twilight Zone kind of feel, I guess.
Well, I'm excited to check it out, and I'm sure that everybody that's watching this is very excited to see all about it as well. Does this mean that we can be expecting another project from you soon?
Yeah, I'm recording an album right now. I'm just trying to like figure out who to have mix it. but I think I met this girl who's going to do a really good job, and I'm going to start recording some of it with her soon. But yeah, I think I'll put it out probably in like 2021 or something if I finish it in time for like the new year.
If you could talk to your fans or the people who follow you and give them a bit of advice, any bit of advice during the current climate that we're in with the world, anybody that's listening to this right now, what kind of advice would you have for them, just in regards to life in general?
Well, I think it's a really good time to like develop yourself creatively. So you might know what that means for you personally, or you might not know you have like a creative side that's trying to come out. But I think all of this extra time that we have is a good time to kind of like focus on yourself and you know, like explore new talents or new hobbies and like kind of refine them and do something creative. And also just like it's a really good time to be active, especially in like politics. And so I would tell them to vote for sure, and hopefully they don't vote for Trump, because that scares me, the idea of another Trump presidency. But yeah, I'd say mostly like it's a good time to like spend time focusing on yourself and kind of like building yourself up and doing those projects that you like want to show the world, or like create the kind of like life that you want to see a few months or a year from now. Like I think it's a really good time to plant those seeds and like do that work. And just to like stay safe. I don't know, I haven't really been that social, or that like I haven't really gone out that much because I don't want to get sick, and I use it as an excuse to just like spend more time with myself and be more creative. And yeah, there's like a lot of time right now to kind of like focus on yourself, but it's also a good time to be there for other people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are struggling. So I think like a balance of that would be like cool to do right now.
Well, I think that you have a very beautiful essence to you, a very beautiful soul. I think it's something, just from our chats in general online, it's something that radiates. I think that that's probably one of the aspects that really like draws me to you, you know, because I can tell you just your presence, you know. And I think it's important for people like yourself and like myself, who are creators, to be doing these things right now and to be able to help inspire other people. And that's a lot of the reason why I started this YouTube channel, is so I can do things like this and hopefully, you know, just through the skills that I have, or the talent set that I have, inspire other people to just continue to make the world a brighter place. So I just want to say thank you very much just for living your truth and for actually doing the things that you feel are what make you the happiest, so then that way you're able to spread that to the world. So before we get into, I have a speed round set up, and before we get into that, my final like longer question that would require maybe more thought is, I know for me, something when I was sitting down and kind of thinking about the questions that I wanted to bring up or discuss with you, something that's come up a lot in my life the past couple of days is that I realized I have a fear of failure that's pushing me in ways that it's something that I never have processed before or have been conscious about. And I know that a lot of people have a fear of success, and I realize that my fear is of failing, and I realize that it's kind of governed some ways that I've moved in my life. So I wanted to bring it up just because it's something so current for me. I wanted to be transparent about that and just see if that's something that you're comfortable discussing for yourself, and see if there are any kind of like fears that maybe you have that you're conscious of right now, or like what is like what is one of your biggest fears that you have for, I guess, creatively, or just for your life in general?
Yeah, I guess my fear would be not being able to share my work, like my life's work, at the capacity that I want to, like that I won't reach enough people or like connect with enough people in sharing my own experience. But I think that's just like whatever. I think that's just the energy of like my passion speaking, like hoping that it's not all for like a useless endeavor. But I think I have a fear of success too sometimes too, because I just wonder, like, is that too much for me? Is what I want from my life, like, could I even handle that? So I definitely relate to that, but other than that, I'm not really sure. I kind of like try not to let my fears really like dictate every day that I live, and I feel like I do a lot of work around clearing out my fears and just like facing them. And like a big one was moving to another country during a pandemic. And so I was like afraid of that before I did it, but I just knew it would be important for me. And I think like fear is a big opportunity. I think it's a space for growth. I think usually the things you fear involve like what you truly care about. And so I've spent the last few years like really facing a lot of my fears.
It seems like you're right on track, and I'm definitely very excited to see what comes for you next.
Me too, thank you. I'm really excited about it too. Like I'm trying to envision a lot of it and make it my reality.
It will be. So let's get into the speed round. These are gonna be very simple questions. A couple of them are maybe a little bit more broad, so I just wanna see kind of how your mind works. So we'll start with easier ones, and then it'll be like weirder towards the end. There's only a couple that are kind of weird. So for the speed round, name your current favorite color.
My current favorite color is like a dark purple.
Okay. Animal.
Cheetah.
Number.
444.
All right. What about language?
I guess my favorite language right now is Dutch, because I'm dating a person who speaks Dutch, and I think it's like really sexy when they talk. But my favorite language right now is definitely not German, because it's really difficult for me to learn, and I'm trying really hard and getting kind of frustrated with my own German.
Can you say anything in Dutch?
No. I can say, because the word peen means carrot.
Oh, easy.
And the person thinks it's funny when I say peen, so
all right.
I say peen a lot.
Would you say that peen is your current favorite word then?
My current favorite word would be robust.
That's good. How would
which
you...
in German is Hobruscha or something.
Which is in what?
I forget. I looked it up recently.
That's Robusha is what?
Oh, German.
Oh. Robusha.
But I'm saying wrong. I don't know if that's truly what it is. I've forgotten the word, but we looked it up recently.
How would you use robust in a sentence? Give us a sentence.
Like this is all a little bit too robust for me. I'm gonna need to take some time alone to figure myself out. Or I'm feeling very robust today, so everyone watch out.
Oh man.
I don't know. I just think it's a funny word. It's just like I don't use it in the way that it's like probably supposed to be used. I just think it's a funny descriptor.
Okay, so what is your current favorite food?
That would be bread.
Just a bread of any sort?
Every morning I go to this grocery store and I get like cheese bread that's like probably not the healthiest thing for me to eat, but I eat that. And also, like, sugar waffles are really good to me right now. I eat a lot of those. These just like little waffles with sugar on them that I get at the store.
Beautiful. You're trying to get thick.
Yeah.
Do you believe in the paranormal?
Yes, I do, but I just don't have a lot of experience with it. I'm one of those people who like wants to be haunted and like wants to do a seance and like talk to ghosts, but actually I do have an experience in the paranormal.
Do you want to share it with us?
Never. Sure. So, last time I was in Germany was about 4 years ago, and I got the news that my ex-boyfriend had passed away. So I was really distraught, and I wanted to talk to him, but he was like obviously passed on. So I called a psychic medium, which is like a thing I do, I guess. And this medium told me, she's like, when he's ready to communicate with you, you'll see flickering lights and you'll just know it's him. And so I was like, okay. And I kind of like waited for lights to flicker for a few years and it never happened. And then when I moved back to Berlin, or when I came back to Berlin to live here, I was like setting up this little like altar space that's above me right now. And I set up this picture of him, and there were these little like lights that I got on the internet that are like supposed to just fade through all the colors and kind of glow. And the light that I put by his picture started like flashing one night and it wouldn't turn off. And like I couldn't get it to go back to like the normal settings. So I was like, maybe that's him like communicating with me. And it only did that once, and then a few weeks later when I moved into another place, I put another light by where I had his picture and it started doing the same thing. And all the other lights I have just function normally, but the ones that I put by his picture like start to flicker.
He said, hi, hello, I'm here still. I have something to say to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of my only really experience with the paranormal.
What about aliens? That's what I want to know about.
Oh my God, actually, I'm like, I've never had any experiences, and then I'm like, oh, actually, I've seen aliens.
You're like, actually, I have all of them.
Yeah, I went to Mount Shasta like 2 years ago for my birthday, just to kind of like be weird by myself. And I highly recommend going. I went there in search of like paranormal stuff, and I went to this mountain one night and met up with all these people, and we were just staring at Mount Shasta, and these two lights like zoomed out of the top of the mountain and like were just moving around a lot, and then they like went back into the mountain. And we were all just like, holy shit, that's them, that's the aliens, they're here, they're communicating with us. And for like 5 minutes we watched these lights like zoom in and out of the mountain. It was so crazy.
And the last thing is, what is something that you have to promote right now? What do you want people, how do you want to direct traffic?
I want people to go on Spotify and listen to my music. That's all I'm really working on. I recently funded my Kickstarter for my campaign to press my EP on a vinyl record, so those are available soon, and I'm getting those pressed right now. But yeah, mostly just go on Spotify or whatever platform you like and check out the Venus in Scorpio. That's really all I have to promote.
That's all I have for you for the interview. So thank you very much for being the first guest that I have here on X Talks. I definitely look forward to seeing what you have coming up next. It sounds like you're in a very transitional period in your life right now, and just from everything that I've sensed of you, I think that there are really big things that are going to be happening for you next. So I'm excited to watch all of that unfold. And I know...
Thank you. Pleasure.
Of course. And I know that we'll definitely be in touch here soon. So I will let you enjoy your day then, and just thank you again so much.
Okay. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.
Bye. So this has been the very first episode of X Talks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Definitely make sure that you check out the Venus in Scorpio on all of their social media platforms, and go listen to their music on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere that you're able to listen to music right now. Thank you so much again for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure that you like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and before you know it, I'll be back with another video. Love you guys so much. Thank you.